So again, as long as these two columns add up to 12, you can have as many as you want. You can do this, you could add another one if you wanted to add a third column, but then I would have to decrease these so that it adds up to 12. 4, about education, boom, like that, right? Whatever it is. Pretty easily now I have, pretty nice looking page. It has that responsive feel to it. Let's add a bit more content, right? So under here, we might add our P with some content on it. I'm just gonna go steal it from the General Assembly website. It's just easier than me writing it all. But just to give you guys a sense. So whenever I'm happy with my content, I can pour it into, close that, into my page there. Looks pretty good. And that's the beauty of the grid, right? Is that I already have this kind of like layout. I can do another column. I can do sections just by using this row and span back and forth. And so let me just highlight a few more things that are really sweet about Twitter Bootstrap that go beyond the grid. Because there are other grid systems out there already. But what's really nice about this, Twitter Bootstrap, is if we go to base CSS, you can see that they have all of the base stuff done for you already, like block quotes and all this kind of basic stuff. But they go one step further. They have all these buttons already made. So it's really easy for me to get buttons made. It's really easy for me to get form elements, right? So you don't really need to know too much about coding because they give you all the example code. Let me see. I think there's a really nice email button they give here. Let me see if I can grab that. But quite simply, you would just take this piece of code here, right? And we can pop it into the education section. Format it a little bit, like that. And now we have this here, right? And you can submit your email, and then you just go and change the labels. So you can write, submit your email, and you can use what you want and take out what you don't want, right? And then make it pretty nice. And for location, you can, well, pretty easily I can go and I could Google for the map of General Assembly in New York City. Let me see if I can grab that. Maps. And that is very far away, and there's a lot of other GAs, but let me see, 902 Broadway. Let me get a little closer. Google allows you pretty nicely to grab these iframes. So you can grab an iframe of this here, and then I can pop this into my project underneath location, and it looks like a bunch of bleh, but whatever. And that will give me a map, which is pretty nice, like this. The sizing of the map, so this is just a little aside, is kind of sloppy, and you can fix with it here. But what I would like to do if I was rapid prototyping this and just to get something up is I would, in my CSS, up at the top, you can just do this really sloppily here. Just do iframe, and you can do width 100%. And now it will resize that in a responsive way so that it fits into here, as well as when you have it like this. That's the basics of it. There's so much more in here. There's JavaScript components they give you as well. Just one note about the JavaScript stuff, because this always tripped me up, and so once you get more advanced, just an FYI, the JavaScript isn't pre-written, the jQuery. You have to include the jQuery into the bottom of your project, and so they do the basics here, and then you have to come down here and write all of the if you're familiar with jQuery, the document ready, it goes below all of your stuff down here, and you actually have to execute it to let it know which functions you're going to be using. That tripped me up when I first started using it, because they don't explain that quite so well, I thought. But once you get that included, you can do cool stuff like that. You can do that again. Let me try a different one. A bunch of different stuff like tooltips and events and navbar dropdowns, all by just really copying and pasting and rapid prototyping. In conclusion, because we have to wrap up, Twitter Bootstrap is really great. I know RGA is using it, HappyCog, which is a great agency, us at GA, we're using it. A lot of different agencies are using it. I would recommend giving it your best and rolling forward with it.
All right. Well, thank you so much. This was so helpful today, Chris.
Yeah, thanks.
And yeah, if you have any questions, definitely feel free to send us an email, and we'll do plenty more on prototyping in the future. So definitely tune in.
Cool.